I've decided to spend a bit of time compiling some videos detailing some of the questions I've been asked over the last few years in interviews that I've had. So my experience has been within adult social care. These questions will be mainly relevant to that. But you might find if you're from children's services and you're looking for a job in this area that some things will relate as well. So I hope they can be as helpful as possible for people. And if there is anything I've missed, I'd like it to be a resource that we can keep building. So if people want to comment below, that'd be great. So I have gone into a lot of detail, so I decided to separate them out to try and make it as helpful as possible.
For the skills question, my advice would be that just from my own experience, I went into an interview and started talking about generic skills I had, like saying things like, oh, I'm good at active listening, blah, 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 blah. And I got stopped midway through and they said, no, what we mean is maybe assessment skills and things like that. And since then, I've realised that what you need to do is look at the essential skills on the post description and talk about them. A way to prepare to do that is to make bullet points about some of the essential skills, and then you can also link up some of the examples that you might use. When you're talking about your achievements or some of your examples of your skills, make sure you emphasise the role that you played in that scenario. For example, one of mine is that I'm good at listening, but I also backed that up by saying that there was someone that was non-verbal and they were finding it really hard to get their points across about what mattered to them. And this meant that the other professionals found it really hard to get through to the person. But I was able to say that with carrying on going and finding creative ways to get around some of the barriers to communication, I was able to get a really clear picture of what mattered to her. So that's sort of showing a skill of listening, but also then linking it to a real situation and showing your awareness of things like being person-centred. So it's linking it all together, really. Another example of the actual types of things you might be doing is you'd be required to work as a multidisciplinary team. So this will mean that you need to have an ability to work with other professionals. So that means not just going in with your own views and not being willing to hear different perspectives, but recognising that maybe a skill of yours is that you're really good at advocating for people, but you're also really good at building relationships with other professionals, because the best thing we can do is work really well with other people, because then the person will get the best service they can. I'd say if you can, really research the position you're going for, because then you can think in advance about the exact reason you applied for what you're going for, and then maybe try and link that with some of your previous experience. So if you had a placement where you were doing some of the roles that you might have been doing in the next position you're applying for, it's worth trying to link the two together and some of the transferable skills you had. Thinking about some of the practical tasks, some more things might be having to adapt to change very quickly. Also managing people with various different needs and trying to help them the best you can. If you have had quite a varied career or past in placements and volunteering things, maybe just say that you have got the ability to work with lots of different people, and a skill of yours is your ability to communicate with people, like with people from different backgrounds, and that you don't take a judgmental approach, and that helps you. I tend to think about innovation as well, and using technology and free resources, because what you need to remember is that local authorities really don't have a massive amount of funding. So you need to show that you're not just someone that's going to put everyone in a box and try and fix the situation with care without thinking about anything else. You need to be thinking holistically about what's out there and being quite forward thinking. And mostly you just need to be a team player and want to develop.